Now we're going to talk about dividing integers. Over here, we have some rules. A 0 divided by a non-zero integer is 0. A non-zero integer divided by 0 is undefined. We're going to talk about both of those in a few minutes. But down below, I kind of explain these next two rules. A quotient of two non-zero integers with like signs, these two have like signs, both positive, both negative, then their quotient is going to be positive. And the quotient has two non-zero integers with unlike signs, these are unlike, positive, negative, or positive, then their quotient, their signs are going to be negative. All right, so here's the good guys and bad guys. Again, I did this with multiplying integers. We will assign a sign to each of these. Good guys, you would say, is positive, and the bad guys we're going to call negative. Staying in town is a positive thing just because it's kind of a direction, and leaving town would be negative, a direction again. So if the good guys stay in town, that's a good thing. So positive divided by a positive is a positive. If the good guys leave town, divided, I say that, a positive divided by a negative, which is this third one down here, positive divided by negative is a bad thing, so that's negative. If the bad guys stay in town, then a negative divided by a positive, which is the bottom one here, is a bad thing, that's negative. But if the bad guys leave town, a negative divided by a negative is going to be a positive thing. That's good. All right. So here's some examples. 12 divided by 4, a positive divided by a positive is a positive, and you can see it two different ways. Linear or up and down like a fraction here. A negative divided by a positive is a negative, and a negative divided by a positive is a negative. Both of these are the same, and both of these are the same. A positive divided by negative 3 is negative 2, and 6 divided by negative 3 is also negative 2. And a negative divided by a negative is a positive, so negative 15 divided by negative 3 is 5, and negative 15 divided by negative 3 is 5. Some definitions. The 12 is your dividend. The 12 is the number on top here, or it's the first number, or it's the number inside the house, as they sometimes call it. That's your dividend. The divisor is either the denominator, or the one to the right, or the one outside the house. That's your divisor. And the quotient is your answer. And if you wanted to check it to see if you've done it correctly, then you take the divisor, D4, you multiply it by the quotient, your answer, the 3, and see if you get 12. If you do, then you did it correctly. Division into and by 0 are both very, very different. Division into would look like this. If we have 0 cookies and we want to divide that by 4 people, well, there aren't any cookies to go around, so no one's going to get one, and the answer is 0. You could also see it this way. 0 divided by 4 is 0. And if we checked it like we did on the previous page, we would take the divisor, multiply it by the quotient, and do we get the dividend? Yes, we do. It checks. But division by 0 is completely different. That is a number divided by 0, and that is undefined. You should check that out on your calculator and see what you get. All right, another way you could look at it this way is 4 divided by 0. Again, it's just undefined. There's no answer. There's nothing you can put there. If you put it in your calculator, you're probably going to get an error message. If we wanted to do it like we did the checking before, let's say the answer is 4. Does 0 times 0 equal 4? No. So that's not true. Let's see, maybe the answer is actually a 4. Is the divisor by the quotient going to equal the dividend? No. So there's nothing you can put there. And here's kind of a way to remember it. If 0 is under the line, It's undefined. 0 under the line is undefined. And I want to give you a visual here that might help you remember that. You can see that these are all correct. 12 divided by 3 is 4. 12 divided by 2 is 6. 12 divided by 1 is 12. 12 divided by 1/2, we may have to do a review on that one. 12 divided by 1/2 is the same thing as 12 over 1 times 2 over 1, which is 24. Remember, when you divide by a fraction, keep, change, flip, keep the change, keep the first number, change division to multiplication, and then flip the divisor, the second number, and you're going to get 24. And same thing, 12 times 2 is 24, 12 times 10 is 100, 12 times 100 is 120. No, it didn't. 12 times 100 is 1200. Oops. 12 times 100,000 is going to be 1,200,000. Let's count 5 zeros, 5 zeros, 2 zeros, 2 zeros. At any rate, this number here is getting smaller and it is approaching 0, while this number gets bigger and approaches infinity. It becomes infinitely large, blows up, can't be done. So that's why we say division by 0 is undefined. All right, here's some for you to practice. Check these out, see what you get, and then see if bars match. All right, 35 divided by 5. Positive divided by positive is positive. 24 divided by -3 is going to be a -8. 0 divided by anything is 0. Negative divided by negative is positive. Can't divide by 0. It's undefined. -32 divided by 8, negative divided by 8 is going to be negative. And you could see it this way. This is going to be a -4. This is going to be a +9, undefined. Now, you don't have the 0 under the line, little trick here, but you just have to know that the divisor, the number that's going to be on the outside of the hat, is going to be, or the house, or however you want to look at it, is going to be 0, then it is undefined. That's all there is to it. This is going to be a -9, this is going to be a +9, and this is going to be 0 cookies divided by, well, can't have -15 people, but at any rate, when you divide a number into 0, you get 0. How'd you do? This workforce product was funded by a grant awarded by the United States Department of Labor's Employment and Training Administration. The product was created by the grantee and does not necessarily reflect the official position of the U.S. Department of Labor. The Department of Labor makes no guarantees, warranties, or assurances of any kind, express or implied, with respect to such information, including any information on linked sites and including, but not limited to, accuracy of the information or its completeness, timeliness, usefulness, adequacy, continued availability, or ownership.